Good morning. As Guy said, my name is Josh Mayfield. I'm Bayer's cotton agronomist for Georgia, South Alabama, and North Florida. We do appreciate y'all's support. Last year, Bayer grew in market share, and part of that was due to having some varieties that were working well in the southeast, as well as having varieties that are tolerant to both glyphosate and Liberty, the first on the market. Today's talk, every variety we'll discuss will be what we call Glytol Liberty tolerant. Glytol is our glyphosate trait. Liberty, of course, is our glufosinate trait. So every variety we're discussing will have that dual double stack technology in the bag. We do appreciate your business and your support in 2013. I look forward to working with you in 2014. All throughout the day, if there's questions or something you'd like to discuss more, we will be around. Just looking at the very first variety we released east of Texas, it had Glytol Liberty technology in it. Fibermax 1944 GLB2 was released in 2012. We grew market share of it in 2013. It is a more early to mid-maturing variety, has served us very well. The fiber quality is what you can expect in a Fibermax bag. It is a variety that is responsive to stance, a little more aggressive than a Fibermax 1740 Bollgard 2 Flex, but still very responsive to stance, and is responsive to good fertility and good management. This is a variety that as we begin to push it in yield, it will respond. It also works very well behind wheat. The bulk of my talk, we're going to talk about our Stoneville varieties. This past year in 2013, we released Stoneville 6448 GLB2. We also have two other good varieties we're going to be discussing. 6448, if you know how Stonevilles are numbered, a 4000 series is an early, a 5000 series is a mid, and a 6000 series is a true full season. So Stoneville 6448, what it did for us last year is it kind of helped Stoneville break into that full season market, which is something we've been working to do over the last several years, but with this variety it has given us that potential. What is adapted for the southeast and south delta, good seedling vigor. We're going to talk more in detail in a minute about the fiber quality. We also believe that with this variety it has opened some doors for us in a Stoneville brand to improve fiber quality over some varieties we've had in the past. It is well suited to irrigated, but some of the niches that we found for it and some of its real strength is a variety that can take stress. We sort of promoted it on that dry land acre as well last year. We had some success with that, and we'll discuss that as well. Looking at a boll distribution, which Dr. Collins and Dr. Whitaker over the last several years have discussed this. If you see a typical early maturing variety, bolls per 10 plants, as that increases, and this is your node count along the bottom, an early maturing variety will tend to fruit up pretty heavy, lower in the canopy, and as it progresses up, the stalk tends to taper off. Stoneville 6448 follows more of a full season fruiting pattern where it doesn't fruit up quite as heavy down low, but as you work up the stalk, you do have some advantage with that top crop, those top bolls that in a southeastern market that we're looking to have and to retain at the end of the season. 2 years of dry land data in the Georgia OVTs against some of our industry standards. This is a variety that does tend to perform very well on dry land. It's a very dependable variety and is one that we feel like opens a door for us to get on some of those acres where Georgia growers need that full season potential. Just looking at some of the fiber quality, we knew when we released it we had a good staple. We had an improvement in mic. With some of our older varieties, the Stoneville 5458 Bollgard 2 Flexes, Stoneville 4145 LLB2, Stoneville sort of would tend to, from time to time, high mic. This is a variety that doesn't have that potential as much. I've been real pleased with the mics that we've gotten this year. I've been very pleased with some of the staples. I have seen some gin reports with 38, 39, and 40 staples with this variety. Strength is good, uniformity, and it has helped us in the loan value department. Just to reiterate, even in Georgia, that was South Alabama data. This is Georgia OVT data, 8 full season trials across the state. Again, you can see that in Mike, for a Stoneville, this is something we've been looking for. Good, high quality Stoneville cotton for Mike and also for staple length. Stoneville 4946 GLB2. It was also released in 2013, but this was a variety that we got little to no real demo seed for the 2013 season. There was a need for this variety in the Delta. It is a more earlier variety than 6448. We'd call it an early to mid-maturing variety. It also, we discuss here root knot nematode tolerance, and that is an important issue that you'll hear more about today. All of our companies seem to have a root knot nematode variety that we are promoting. Stoneville 4946 GLB2 is ours. This is a variety that I would recommend not only for root knot ground, but it has done well in some of the lower yield environments up to some of the higher yield environments for us in 2013. Just looking at some 2012 data out of the University of Georgia, here's your Phytogen 367, Stoneville 4288. Both these varieties are recognized by Dr. Bob Kimright as having high levels of whether you want to call it tolerance or resistance to root knot nematode reproduction, which is this green line here. You see Stoneville 4946, there's no statistical difference in either three of those varieties' ability to suppress nematode populations through the season. Again, just looking at it in the OVTs, we were able to compare it to some other companies that are bringing forward root knot nematode varieties. Looking at Stoneville 4747 GLB2, this is our new variety that's an early to mid. This is one that I am very excited about. It was a retest. 2013 was the second year that it had gone through our CAP trial program. Being a GLB2, this is probably the last one that we'll bring to market. I don't know that, but I would guess that it would be as we begin to move into our own BT technology. But 4747 had outstanding yield potential in 2012 in the Mid-Atlantic. Our seed supply was better in 2013. We tested it here in the Southeast as well, and the data on it was just very, very strong. It was one of those that we kind of had to advance. Being an early to mid, it is more of a moderate plant height. It's going to be a variety very responsive to stance or to picks. It will respond to good fertility. It will respond to good management as well. However, you know, we know that 2013 was not really a dry year, but where we kind of saw the data really stick out to us was on the dryland OVTs in Georgia. And where you see a red circle, that's where 4747 compared to all the other industry standards, this is where it was in at these locations, was in the highest yielding, statistically highest yielding group dryland wise. You see 6448 close behind, but if you go and look and you add the dryland locations to the irrigated OVTs, 8 locations throughout the season, compared to other industry standards that we have, Stoneville 4747 really began to just show out. And yield wise, it was something that we had to consider, okay, we need to release this variety. Where it's going to fit, we'll kind of talk about that in just a second. Here's our maturity chart. If you're wondering where these varieties sort of fit in, the main ones we're focusing on in 2014, all of them are Glytol Liberty varieties that we're really going to hone in on for sale. You see Fibermax 1944 here. It's more or less the same relative maturity as a Stoneville 4946, and that being our root knot variety we discussed earlier. Stoneville 4747 is going to be slightly earlier. Let me find where I'm at here. Here's Stoneville 6448 in our true full season category. 4747, where I really see it fitting is if there is a grower, if you've worked with a grower or you are a grower that has liked Fibermax 1740, liked Fibermax 1944 over the last couple of years, this is a variety that I think you ought to try. I think when you put it in those type of environments, it's going to respond well for you. And due to its yield potential, I believe that in a couple years it'll sort of begin to take the place of those varieties and also get on new ground. We know that this year we sort of following wheat with all the rain that we had. Some guys ran out of season in the fall. We just ran out of season. A lot of cotton couldn't finish up. This is a variety that is earlier than 1944, really is earlier than anything else we'll be promoting this year, and could be a variety that behind wheat, I see it filling a niche and finishing up definitely on time there. Now, just sort of introducing, Guy always asks us to introduce newer technology or things we're working on that's coming up. Twin Link is our newest technology. Just prior to the new year, we got full deregulation of it, and we have commercialized Twin Link. We've talked about it for several years, but what Twin Link is basically is our proprietary 2-cryprotein BT technology. So that varieties we release in the future will be resistant to both glyphosate materials, Liberty herbicide, and we'll have Twin Link technology in it. So we released 2 varieties east of Texas during our advancement meeting in December that we'll be commercializing this spring. Really, I see one of those possibly being a player for us here in the southeast. If you look at the insect protection that you get, it is very similar to a BoldGuard 2 technology, and that's really what we compared as a check against during our years of developing this. You can see here where we've tested it across the southeast here, up the Mid-Atlantic, Mid-South, and Texas locations where we have had field trials this past year. Looking at the one variety that really I think, well, this may work for us here in the southeast, will be Stoneville 5289 GLT. That's a glyphosate, Liberty, and Twin Link technology. Seed supply is going to be very limited, but it did perform well for us in a few locations. Most of this, I would say a lot of the supply is going to go to the Mid-South. We're going to try it again this year. We may have a few bags available if you've got growers or you are a grower that would like to try this. It is a medium maturing variety. The parent of this variety I've seen do very well under irrigated as well as under dryland conditions in years past, and we're excited to have it. What I foresee is that this year, for the 2014 season, we're going to be testing several experimentals that are just, this variety may do well for us here in the southeast, but the ones we'll be testing this year for potential 15 release are varieties that I see doing very well for us next year. So I'm excited to finally get my hands on them and trial them out, and we'll kind of see where we stand there. Just looking at where we're headed, in 2012 and 2013 was the first years that in the southeast and really east of Texas with Fibermax 1944 and Stoneville 6448 we released Glytol, Liberty Link, and BoldGuard 2 varieties. This year, 2014, is going to be the first season where we do have Glytol, Liberty Link, and Twin Link varieties offered. Again, most of that supply is going to be more adapted for the Mid-Atlantic and the Mid-South. But again, if you're a consultant, if you're a farmer that wants to try a few bags, we'd love to let you have some. 2015 and beyond, we're going to be moving forward, hopefully, with Glytol, Liberty Link, and Twin Link, as well as possibly Vipcot technology. And that's really where we're headed the next 2 or 3 years. Any questions?
Josh, I'm assuming the 5289, that is off of 5288 parent.
It is, yeah.
Same leaf parent?
Terry.
How would you stack up 49 or 46 compared to 1944?
This year, to be honest with you, Wes, this year it performed much better than 1944. Just had a really good year. When I looked at it across, what I've begun to do the last couple years is the way that Guy and Jared are defining maturities in lower to higher yield environments. I sort of take my cap trials and I do that as well. And 49, 46, it did well in the higher yield environments, but I saw a trend where even in the lower yield environments where 64, 48 was doing well in trials, there were circumstances where it also did well. So how I would describe that variety is not only a root knot variety, but also just a high yield potential variety if a grower wanted to try some. And last year we didn't have the supply here in the southeast. This year we will. Other questions? It is going to be available. Every sales rep should have a small quantity for sale as well as for demo. We're going to have some demo of it. If you'd like to look at it over your way, by all means, Mark, we can do that. If you get with Billy Smith or Jake Ford, you know, there will be a small quantity for sale, just like any other introductory year. But if it does in 14 what it did in 13, I could easily see it really taking off. I'm excited about 4747. Not the same background by any means. I would say no, it is early. Seems to be earlier than a 1944. But we just saw it do very well. The data just wouldn't let us not advance it. I had better data on dry land this year, but I'm cautious about that because you guys know that it really wasn't dry until some periods in August. I'm going to try some more testing on dry land. We'll probably try some demo on dry land. But any year you release a new variety, you want to put it in the best hands possible to push it and kind of demo it that way. But if you want to get with me later, we can talk about maybe where you want to place it and how you want to look at it. But that is a variety that everybody ought to want to see and look at for 2014.
Any other questions for Josh?
All right, thank you, Josh.
Thank you.